You ever send a text and then just wait? Not because you're nervous, just because you genuinely don't know if she's thinking about you the same way you're thinking about her, and your brain starts doing that thing, replaying conversations, overanalyzing her last response, trying to figure out if you're the guy she can't get out of her head or just another name she forgets by Thursday. Here's what I want you to understand before we even get into this. Women don't obsess over the guy who tried the hardest. They obsess over the guy who made them feel something they couldn't fully explain. That feeling that sticks, that energy that lingers, that presence that makes her stop mid-scroll and think about you for no real reason. And the crazy part? That effect isn't about your looks. It's not about being rich or having some crazy lifestyle. It's about specific behaviors, habits, ways of carrying yourself that plant a seed in her mind and let it grow quietly, long after you've stopped talking. So in this video, I'm breaking down 7 things that make women genuinely think about you when you're not around. Not tricks, not mind games, real psychological behaviors that create real, lasting attraction. Let's get into it. Number 1, you left the conversation first. This one sounds too simple, and that's exactly why most guys miss it. Think about every conversation you've had with a girl you liked. Did you drag it out? Did you stay on the phone until there was nothing left to say? Did you reply instantly every time, keeping the thread alive past the point where it was actually good? Most guys do this because they're scared the moment will die, so they keep feeding it. And what happens? It flatlines anyway, and now it's awkward. Here's the truth. The conversation that ends while it's still good is the one she replays. When you're the one who wraps it up, when you say something like, "Hey, I need to get back to something, let's talk later," and you actually mean it, you leave her in a place of wanting more. Her brain doesn't get closure, and unfinished stories are the ones the mind keeps returning to. End the conversation first, not rudely, not coldly, just confidently, like a man who has a life outside of her, because you do. Number 2, you disagreed with her and didn't apologize for it. Pay attention to this one because it's massive. We live in a world where most guys will agree with everything a girl says just to keep the peace, just to stay in her good books. And what that communicates is terrifying. It says, your approval matters more than my own opinion. Women feel that. Even when they don't consciously register it, something inside them says, he doesn't feel solid. And you can't be attracted to something that doesn't feel solid. Now, the next time she says something you genuinely disagree with, don't perform disagreement. Don't be rude about it. Just be honest. If she says she hates a movie you love, look her dead in the face and say, "No, that movie is actually incredible. You've got no taste." With a smirk, with zero apology. That moment, that small moment of holding your ground, it does something to her brain. It creates a distinction. You became the guy who has his own world, and she starts wondering what else lives inside it. Mystery starts there, in the pushback, in the calm refusal to just go along. Number 3, you remembered something small she never expected you to remember. This one's underrated to the point where I genuinely think it might be the most powerful thing on this list. You know when you're talking to someone and they bring up something you said 3 weeks ago? Something tiny, something you didn't even think mattered, and for a second you feel this wild thing like, wait, they actually listened, they actually cared. That feeling, bro, that's what you want to give her. Not in a creepy, cataloging everything she says kind of way, but naturally, genuinely, because you were actually present when she talked, because you actually listened instead of just waiting for your turn to speak. If she mentioned once that she hates cilantro, and 2 weeks later you bring it up casually, she will lose it in the best way. Because in a world full of guys half listening while scrolling, a man who truly listens stands out like something rare. And rare things stay in the mind long after they're gone. Number 4, your vibe was the same whether she was impressed or not. Here's something most guys don't realize. Women are constantly testing the consistency of your energy, not consciously, not maliciously, just naturally, because consistency is safety, and safety is what allows attraction to actually grow into something real. So when you're the same, whether she laughs at your joke or not, when you're the same, whether she texts fast or leaves you on red for 2 hours, when your mood doesn't visibly hinge on her reaction, something shifts in how she sees you. She starts to realize this man has a stable floor inside him, and she becomes curious about what it's like to stand on that floor. Because the truth is, she's been around a lot of guys whose mood she accidentally controls. Guys who get distant when she doesn't reply fast. Guys who get needy when she doesn't respond with enough energy. And that's exhausting. You not doing that, you being grounded regardless of her output, that becomes magnetic. She'll think about that. She'll turn it over in her head. Why didn't that bother him? What is he about? Number 5. You talked about something you genuinely care about. This one changes the energy of an entire conversation, and most guys completely skip it because they're too focused on asking questions about her, which isn't wrong. Asking questions is good, but there's a balance. When you talk about something you genuinely love, something that lights up that part of you that's actually alive, the whole dynamic shifts. Your voice changes, your posture changes, your eyes change, and she can feel it. She can feel that this man has a world inside him, that he's not just performing conversation, he's actually present in something. It doesn't matter what it is. Could be the way you've been obsessing over a new skill. Could be a city you visited that messed with your perspective. Could be something you've been building quietly for yourself. Talk about it with real energy and watch what happens. She stops thinking about whether she's interesting enough. She starts thinking about whether she's interesting enough for you. That shift, that subtle power flip, it happens when you bring your real self into the room. Number 6. You didn't chase her energy when she pulled back. This is the one most guys fail, and when they fail it, it costs them everything. She goes a little quiet, maybe her texts get shorter, maybe her energy dips for a day, and every instinct inside you says, fix it, chase it, figure out what you did wrong. And most guys listen to that instinct. They start asking, are you okay? Did I do something? Is everything good between us? And the second they do that, the spell breaks, because they just told her exactly where their emotional security lives, in her hands. Here's what a grounded man does instead. Nothing. He doesn't panic, he doesn't chase, he doesn't overanalyze. He continues living his life with the quiet, unshakable understanding that he didn't do anything wrong, people have their moments, and his value isn't determined by her mood. And that response, or lack thereof, is louder than anything he could have said. She pulls back and realizes she's not controlling anything. She starts wondering why you're not chasing. She starts thinking about you. Curiosity fills the space where neediness would have been. Calm, stable, unbothered energy is the most attractive thing you can radiate when someone pulls back. Let her come back on her own terms. She will, if you don't ruin it by making it weird. Number 7. And listen, this one is the one most guys completely miss, so pay close attention. You showed her exactly who you were, and you weren't trying to manage her reaction. Most guys, when they're around a girl they like, they curate themselves. They pick the cooler stories. They leave out the weird interests. They minimize the things that feel like too much. They're basically editing themselves in real time, trying to figure out which version of themselves she'll respond to best. And women feel that editing. They feel the gap between what you're showing them and what's actually there. And it creates a low-level discomfort they can't name but definitely feel. But when you just show up, when you say the slightly weird thing, when you share the real interest that feels vulnerable, when you're not managing her reaction at all, just existing fully in who you actually are, that's when she sees something she rarely sees. Authenticity. Real, unguarded, unbothered authenticity. And bro, that stays with her, because she can walk away from a guy who performed for her all night, but she cannot stop thinking about the guy who showed her something real. That's the version of you that lives in her head rent-free at 2 a.m. when she's supposed to be sleeping. Alright, let's bring this home. The common thread across all 7 of these things is the same. You were a man with your own ground to stand on. You weren't shifting to fit her, you weren't chasing her energy, you weren't editing yourself down or inflating yourself up. You were just you, steady, present, and genuinely unattached to her approval.
And that combination, being real, being grounded, being the one who ends things first, who holds his opinion, who remembers what matters, who doesn't chase, who doesn't perform, that's not a strategy, that's a way of being. And when you actually live it, she doesn't just like you, she thinks about you, she replays you, she finds herself bringing you up in conversations you weren't supposed to be part of. You become the one she can't shake.